Welcome back to OpenLine. We're talking about the CBS Fall Lineup. Happy to have with us Mark Binda, Program Director from NewsChannel 5. You can answer all your questions. We've already talked about Magnum PI. Murphy Brown coming up next. But let's go to the phones with another call here. Let's go to Tommy. Hello, Tommy.
Hey, Tony.
Tony. Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah. Hey, I was wondering about why the three major networks in prime time never make westerns anymore, or any kind of period pieces like Little House on the Prairie. You know, it seems like all there is police dramas and sitcoms. And, you know, everybody doesn't have cable, so, you know, and considering how westerns at one time kind of dominated prime time, you'd think there'd be one or two. All
right. So Tommy would like to see some westerns.
Yeah. By the way, little fact about Little House on the Prairie. I forget the exact year. Maybe it was 1974. Today was the day, September 11th, that Little House on the Prairie debuted back in the 1970s. Not that you needed to know that. Westerns. I would love to see a Western back on TV. I mean, yes, Westerns did dominate television, but that really was literally the late 1950s. Early 60s. I mean, Bonanza and Gunsmoke were the two biggest shows of the early 60s. And even like, I don't know if you were here back then, but when we had the Lonesome Dove miniseries, those are huge ratings.
That's back when they had miniseries, which were a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm rereading Shogun right now, which was huge. It was the second highest rated miniseries of all time. I think third, maybe behind Winds of War.
Winds of War,
Roots
Robert Mitchum.
Yeah,
I remember
some
all
good
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Westerns, you know, I would love to see CBS do a reboot of Dr. Quinn. Now, that's not your traditional Western, but it actually was set in the West, so I'd love to see them do that. Walker, Texas Ranger wasn't a Western, but he was kind of a Western dude, and those numbers were terrific here. I saw a great Western on Netflix. I don't know the caller is Netflix, but if you get a chance, 7 episodes, Godless. It debuted last November with Jeff, oh God, what's his name? Played the villain. His name escapes me, but it was terrific.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. I didn't get to see it, but yeah, Westerns, maybe they will come back. It was all about Westerns for a long time. Now it's all about these police dramas. That's the rest of his question. Why are they all police dramas?
Yeah,
but I mean,
well,
that works.
It works. I mean, you know, the great thing about, and it's true for Westerns too, great thing about those police dramas is they're procedurals. They begin and end basically in the same episode. So you don't have, like, you take a show like Lost or Scandal or whatever, you've got to watch those shows religiously every week. If you miss it, you're going to be lost. Lost. But Law and Order begin, you know, the crime happens, the crime is solved. I mean, you know, NCIS, the same thing. Now there are little things about the characters that go from episode to episode, but and they repeat well. That's the great thing about NCIS, Law and Order. People will watch the repeats of that. Very few people are going to watch Lost, the repeat of Lost. Or,
that's a good point.
I mean, you don't see the networks, like ABC is famous for having Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and a lot of these shows. They never repeat them because people know what's happened already, you know? And
I remember growing up in a different area. So I would go visit my grandmother, and she lived in a different area, and she would let me stay up late as I wanted. There would be a Western that would come on, some Western, late at night, and then you would get the station would actually sign off the air.
Yes. Like
with the national anthem and but it would be like a Western, and we did that, right? Here. Didn't we have like a Western and then we sign off the air?
I don't know if it was, well, it may have been before my time here, but I remember like on Friday nights we would run like an old John Wayne movie and then sign off. I mean, we haven't probably signed off the airs, other than maybe do engineering maintenance, occasionally have to do that, but literally just truly, hey, let's just shut down the station, probably since the late 80s. I mean, it's been a long time. And used to play the national anthem, and then you go back on with the national anthem and everything. So
that's a few years ago. Okay,
yes.
Murphy Brown. Let's talk about the fall coming up. All right, Murphy Brown. I'm very interested in this. I certainly remember this. And it's the same cast, right?
It's virtually the same cast. Now, one or two of the minor cast members have passed away, but it's basically the 4 leads from the original. And it's a good time to bring back Murphy Brown. I mean, she was a very evolved into headlines. I mean, remember her battle with Dan Quayle in the late 80s.
That's right.
And the show ran for a long time, and so, you know, given our politics of today, it just makes sense. So, you know, we'll see. I don't want to give away too much. Maybe the clips will tell you more, but we can come back and talk about it.
All right, good. Well, let's take a look. All right, so this is the trailer, the clip here for Murphy's Brown, a couple minutes long.
You know, it's not nice to mimic someone.
It's not nice to mimic someone. I'm a respected journalist.
It's 20 years after we finished the first 10 years of Murphy Brown. We're back.
We had our tears, we had our fun.
Murphy, Corky, Miles, and Frank are launching a new show. We think it's our civic duty.
But I choose to make.
Murphy Brown stirred things up, got herself in trouble, come out the other side.
If you are a smoker, a manic depressive, a fan of Donald Trump, or a collector of Nazi memorabilia, this isn't going to work.
When I spoke to Satan this morning before breakfast, he pretty much guaranteed this would be a great experience.
It's a completely different world. We are the press. We're going to be reporting what's going on.
Real bona fide news anchors look up to Murphy Brown. She speaks her truth.
Women in this country legally have a choice. At least I think they still do. I haven't checked the paper today. Which one of you turkeys got their greasy fingerprints all over my Emmy? All right, she's back!
Very interesting.
Yeah. So the reason you didn't see clips of the news show is they want to be pretty topical. So they want to shoot this thing as close to air dates as possible so they can react to things that are going on. So, I mean, obviously, there's something going on every day in our political world. So they want to try and be as topical as possible. So they'll be shooting probably a lot more closer to air date than the typical show. The premise is Murphy's now come out of retirement. She's doing Murphy in the Morning. She's brought back her old crew. If you remember, in the old, the first series, she gave birth to her son Avery. Avery is now grown up.
Oh, wow.
And Avery's now working for a rival network called the Wolf Network. Wolf, hint, hint. What does that mean? So, you know, there'll be the conservative side, whereas, you know, with the son, and you know, Murphy with the liberal side. And then you saw Tyne Daly, who's won multi-Emmy awards for different shows, per Cagney Lacey, Judging Amy. She's now taken over the bar, Phil's bar. So Phil, Pat Corley, the man who played Phil, died. So now Tyne Daly's playing, his sister who's taken over the bar. And Candice Bergen won 4 Emmys for this role. I mean, it's really an iconic kind of show. It was the staple of CBS Monday nights for, you know, 10 to 12 years.
And it's cool to see all of those people. They've clearly aged, but they're there, and they'll be back doing their thing.
Right.
And all right, so what was the backstory on this? Was this hard to get together? Has this been in the works a long time?
I think what I heard is that, you know, Diane English, the producer, and who's coming back to write and produce the show, I think they saw the opportunity with our president and politics, right or wrong, or, you know, however you feel. They just felt like this was the time to bring this show back.
And it is interesting, you know, if they'll have the conservative viewpoint from her son, the Wolf Channel, and then maybe the more, you know, the more liberal viewpoint. That That sounds very interesting. And when's that going to air?
Okay, so this will be Thursday night. So it's a great lineup. You know, we're going to have the final season of Big Bang Theory. I'm very sorry to see that go. Please come back. So you'll have Big Bang Theory at 7. Now, Big Bang Theory will actually debut on Monday the 24th on a Monday night, but then it'll settle back into its Thursday night time period. So Big Bang, Young Sheldon, which was our big hit from last season, Mom, which that show just continues to do well at 8 o'clock, leading into Murphy Brown at 8:30. So a really great 1, 2, 3, 4 comedy block, and then ends with SWAT at 9 o'clock.
Ah,
so
okay.
Very strong.
That'll be Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah, so I like both those, Magnum PI and Murphy Brown. Those look great. All right, we're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to look at some of these other shows.
Sure.
Maybe they aren't reboots. FBI, God Friended Me. God Friended Me. So they were using the social media thing.
Angel.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.